وأول الفرض إيمان الفؤاد كذا نطق اللسان بما في الذكر قد سطرا إن الإله إله واحد صمد فلا إله سوى من للأنام برا رب السماوات والأرضين ليس لنا رب سواه تعالى من لنا فطرا وأنه موجد الأشياء أجمعها بلا شريك ولا عون ولا وزرا وهو المنزه عن ولد وصاحبة ووالد وعن الأشباه والنظرا.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله وسلم وبارك عليه وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما كثيرا مزيدا. أما بعد، فإن أصدق الحديث كتاب الله وخير الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم وشر الأمور محدثاتها وكل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار. ثم ما بعد. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Today is the first day, inshallah, of many days throughout Ramadan that I am blessed to be with you. And we're going to try to make this, or make sure that these gatherings are beneficial. So I don't want this to become a generic, just like everything else you go to or you experience in Ramadan. A brother comes, he sits and he talks about a general topic every time he comes. No. Let's benefit from the waqt, from the time. I am a traditional Muslim to the core. I believe in even 2016, year 1437 Hijri, I still believe in teaching and learning texts of Islam. You don't come here and I talk about fluffy thing. No. I want us to benefit. Both of us, we leave this majlis with a fa'idah usuliyah. Fa'idah, a benefit that is from the usul of our deen. I'm not going to talk about anything else. Yeah? So, I chose a text, it's a poem. Okay? And it's in the science of tazkiyah. Okay? Now you're going to say, he's going to talk about the heart all the time. Yes. But tazkiyah is a encompassing word. It's as if you're saying Quran, Sunnah, Aqwal al-Sahaba, and this Islam in general. Everything, what's the physical or the contextual application of this? How do I apply it? Right? How do I apply Quran in my life? How do I apply Sunnah in my life? How do I apply the life of the Sahaba in my life? All that knowledge that sits up here in your mukh, in your brain, it's great. A lot of youth, they can fire off hadith, قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم كذا وكذا وكذا رواه البخاري ومسلم وفي الكتب الستة. But when you tell them, well, how is that? Your manners are bad, you don't respect your elders, you don't know how to come into the masjid, you don't know how to even discuss masail khilafiyah, you don't know how to do anything. But you have all these hadith and even the whole Quran maybe in your brain. You can recite Taraweeh, you can lead the people in prayer. But what has that done for you in your practical life? The way you get onto the bus, get off the bus, speak to your non-Muslim teachers, non-Muslim classmates, your own mother, your own father, your brother and your sister. How do you behave when you're angry? All of that comes from Kitabullah and from the Sunnah of the Messenger of Allah ﷺ. But for some reason there's a disconnect between the ummah, whether it's the old or the young or the woman and the man. I'm talking generally. There's a disconnect between the Kitab of Allah, the Sunnah of the Messenger of Allah ﷺ, this tradition, this wahi that our Messenger of Allah ﷺ left behind, and us. We can touch it, see it, smell it, read it in the books, Bukhari, Muslim, in the masajid. But where it comes into practical use, it becomes like a ghost. It doesn't really exist. There's no jism, there's no body to it. So the ilm or the science of tazkiyah, what was traditionally called suluk, from the tabi'een, this terminology of tazkiyah, it came a little bit later. But the idea of suluk, and suluk means to be on a path. Salik is you or me, the one taking that path is a salik. Yeah? It comes from the hadith of the Messenger of Allah Rawah Tirmidhi and other scholars of hadith narrated, and it's a sound narration, that the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, Man salaka tariqan, Man salaka tariqan yaltamisu fihi ilma sahhala Allahu lahu tariqahu lil jannah. That whoever sets off in a path, Man salaka, so you're setting off in a path, right? Man salaka tariqan, whoever sets out on a path, yaltamisu fihi ilma, seeking in that path knowledge, سهل الله طريقه للجنة أو في الرواية طريقا للجنة, right? That Allah will facilitate and make easy for him his path or a path to paradise. Yes? So that's the basis of that word being used to describe this science. Ilm as-suluk, the knowledge of setting on a path, out in this path. Okay? So the word suluk is used to describe this ilm of tazkiyah, where you're purifying yourself. Why? Also because it's a lifelong journey. It's not like you have a weekend course, 3 weeks, I purified my soul. It doesn't work that way, right? As long as your soul exists, right? It's open to diseases, it's open to weaknesses, it's open to all of those things. Inna an-nafsa la'ammaratun bis-su', right? Like he said in Surah Yusuf, right? The nafs is mawjood, the nafs is present, where it's ammaratun bis-su', it's constantly ordering you to do bad things, right? But we want to change that, and it can be changed. Like Rasulullah said in Hadith al-Tirmidhi, Hadith Hasan, he said, لا يؤمن أحدكم حتى يكون هواه تبع لما جئت به. Or كما قال عليه الصلاة والسلام, that he said, none of you truly believe, meaning your iman is not complete, until your hawa is what? Your desires, your lower, wants. He says, حتى يكون هواه تبع لما جئت به, until his hawa, his desires, are in conformity to what I brought. So that's a struggle that we have to do, because the nafs is not inclined to wake up for fajr, especially when it's at 3 something in the morning. You have to make sahur. It's difficult. That requires mujahada. The nafs is not even, this is unnatural in terms of what we want. We want to eat and drink. But right now, we're all sitting here, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala, not eating and drinking. Right? The nafs doesn't want to wear 2 pieces of cloth and make a circle, go around the Kaaba 7 times and then run between Safa and Marwa. Your feet hurt. Yeah? But you do it, why? Mujahada. Against yourself. Right? Because you're seeking the face of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. All of that is suluk. Okay? It's all of that is you striving against yourself towards, or on a path towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Okay? But our Salaf, when they read the Quran and they read the Hadith and they studied, this knowledge or this science was something that happened almost intuitively. They understood the Kitab of Allah correctly, they understood the Hadith correctly, so this tazkiyah took place. It was a reality, كانت حقيقة بلا مسمى. It was a reality that had no name. There was no science called suluk or tazkiyah or ilm al-nafs, all that stuff, or riyadatul nafs, right? None of that existed for the first few, century, 2 centuries of Islam. Why? Because they did it. It was amal. But then, from the 3rd century, around the end of 2nd, 3rd century of Islam, the Salaf, they realized this disconnect. They could see it because they had basira. Because these are things that you only can know if you understand the Kitab of Allah and the Sunnah of the Messenger of Allah correctly. If you don't, then it becomes a vague concept. So what did the ulama and our salaf they did? What did they do? they codified these things. They codified it. They wrote it down. Yeah? They wrote it down. These are the signs of a sick heart. These are signs of a healthy heart. These are signs of a dead heart. And these are signs of a healthy heart. And so on and so forth. They codified it, just like Aqidah. Right? The word Aqidah didn't exist in the time of the Sahaba. Right? In the early times of the Sahaba. It only became a word or a mustalah, a terminology, when groups of innovation started to come out. The Khawarij revolted against the leader, and the Shia, Ali is a god. Then the Qadariya, Allah doesn't create our actions. We create our actions. These groups that came out necessitated our Salaf to codify the Aqidah. Likewise Tazkiyah, likewise Fiqh, likewise Usul Fiqh, all these sciences of Islam. Okay? But for whatever odd reason, the science of Tazkiyah and the science of Suluk, more so than any other science, has become ambiguous, vague, unclear, right? And that's a good reflection of how our relationship as Muslims has become, with the Book of Allah and the Sunnah of the Messenger. Yeah? But alhamdulillah, these things are codified. Okay? So they codified in books. Those books got turned into poems, because that was traditionally something that Muslims were very much into. We were into poetry and art and these things, So we codified different sciences in poetry. Different ulama did it throughout our history. And the nature of poetry is something that, if you're somebody who likes poetry, it's very nuanced. What I mean by that is that it reflects very, very well the thought process and the belief of a person when he writes poetry. Okay? Whether it's in Somali, whether it's in Urdu, whether it's in English or whatever language it is, poetry is always difficult to translate because it's very specific to a culture, very specific to a person. And now we have it very specific to an aqidah, very specific to a science. Right? So it's a very beneficial way of codifying something. But it's also a very beneficial way of really reflecting, right, on yourself, or in this case we're going to do reflecting on a science, which is tazkiyah or suluk, which happens to be a science which requires you to do self-reflection. This is a science that makes you look inside of yourself, not anywhere else. Don't worry about your brother to your left, to your right, the uncle, Maulana ji, no. This science, specifically, it makes you take these two eyes and turn them inside. Yeah? Or the critical aspect of human beings, we always criticizing other people. It takes that aspect which was originally created to be this way, which meaning inwards, and it turns it forcefully. If you don't want it, it will force your head to look inside yourself. Okay? So, it's a double advantage that it's a poem, right, which naturally inclines you to look inside yourself, and then the actual subject of the poem is telling you to look inside yourself. Okay, so that's why I chose a poem. I could have brought a book. There's many books, many books, alhamdulillah. Many books that the ulama wrote. Actually, this poem, I will get to it, in the introduction of this poem, is an abridgment of a book. Okay? A part of a book. Okay? So, that's why I chose a poem. Okay? And on top of that, we're in the month of Ramadan. You're fasting, I'm fasting, inshallah. Your veins are dry. Your body is weak. Your mind is a little bit, your guards are down. Your guard is down, Your nafs is weak right now, because you haven't fed it. And inshallah, you haven't also fed it with ma'asi. Feeding your body water, food, is one thing. But you also feed your nafs through ma'asi. When you look at something you're not supposed to look at, when you listen to something you're not supposed to listen to, when you reach out with your hand or walk towards something you're not supposed to be doing, that feeds the nafs. the evil part of the nafs. Huh? So now when you're fasting, generally people are more aware. Right? They're more aware that, oh, I'm fasting, I shouldn't do alif ba ta. Right? Even with the way we speak, somebody who's inclined towards using foul language, right? He will say something, he'll use foul language, and he goes, astaghfirullah, I'm fasting. Right? So generally, the body and the soul, your guards are down. So we're going to attack. We're not going to let, we're not going to let that opportunity slip. Your guards are down, my guards are down. So we're going to pounce on the soul while we have the opportunity to do so. Yeah, we're going to pounce. And so I'm going to introduce to you all, inshallah, the poem that we're going to be reading from. Okay? And I'm going to translate it. It's in Arabic, Taban. Okay, of course. But I will obviously be translating it as we go along. The poem is called علامات صحة القلب. Some of you know it. I mentioned it, I think, before in this masjid. علامات صحة القلب. Okay. الإعراب تام with إعراب تام. علامات صحة القلب. Yeah. Signs, okay, of a healthy heart, or signs of a healthy heart. Okay? This is the poem, the name of the poem. It's by a man named Al-Allama Al-Shaykh Sulayma ibn Suhman ibn Muslih Al-Khath'ami An-Najdi Al-H, rahimahullah ta'ala. Okay? He was born in the year 1266 Hijri. Okay? 1266 Hijri in a beautiful city in Saudi Arabia called Abha. If some of our brothers have traveled a bit in Saudi Arabia, Abha is one of the few cities that are green and nice and have, Torontonian weather. Yeah, it's cool, it's nice, yeah. There's trees and things that grow there, not just sand. Like in Medina, it's just sand. So he's born in that city of Abha, okay, in one of the villages of Abha, in the year 1266. Rahimahullah ta'ala, rahmatan wasi'ah, was from the great ulama of Abha, Al-Najd. His father, Suhman, was also a hafiz of the Quran, talib al-ilm. So he's born into a family of knowledge, family where knowledge was something given importance above everything else. His father being a student of knowledge himself, memorizing Quran at an early age. He moved from Abha to Najd at a young age, okay? And he met the grandchildren of Shaykh al-Islam Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahhab al-Tamimi, rahimahullah ta'ala, al-Mujaddid, Sahib Kitab al-Tawheed, Kashf al-Shubuhat, Usul al-Thalatha, and the books that are known to the Ahlul Sunnah wal Jama'ah of Aqidah and Usul. Okay? His grandchildren, Sulayma ibn Suhman studied with him. Rather, he spent 17 years with the grandchildren, specifically Al-Allama Abdul Rahman ibn Hassan ibn Muhammad Abdul Wahhab, rahimahullah ta'ala, who was the grandson of Muhammad Abdul Wahhab. He wrote the book Fathul Majid fi Sharh Kitab al-Tawheed. Fathul Majid is one of the principal explanations of the book of Tawheed, written by Abdul Rahman ibn Hassan. He also wrote Qurrat al-Uyun, which was an abridgment of that same book, Qurrat al-Uyun al-Muwahhideen. He spent 17 years with him, and then his son, so the great-grandson of Muhammad Abdul Wahhab, whose name was Abul-Layth ibn Abdul Rahman ibn Hassan ibn Abdul Wahhab. Okay? Rahimahumullah ta'ala jami'an. And he was known, Sulayman ibn Suhman, was known to be a very strong student of knowledge, but he had an inclination towards poetry. Everything he learned, he turned into poetry. Yes? So he was known as Sha'iru Aqidat Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah, the one who turns the Aqidah into poetry, the one who made the Aqidah of the Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah, he codified it in poetry. He was also a man of great, beautiful adab. He was known as Hassan Zamani. That was his laqab, like people would call him that. The most beautiful person of his time. Right? And they don't mean physically, although I'm sure physically, maybe, we don't know if he was probably inshallah handsome. Right? But because of his akhlaq and his adab. Yeah? When he was around in his, I think it was in his 20s, he got a disease in his eyes that caused him to go blind, rahimahullah. And so the Malik at that time, Abdul-Aziz rahimahullah of Saudi Arabia, sent him to Bahrain. Okay? He wrote and explained this poem in Bahrain, blind. Okay? Almost 109 years exactly from this time that we are right now in. Okay? And Allah did not decree for him shifa. He returned to Saudi Arabia blind. But that didn't stop him from writing, giving da'wah, and codifying different branches of science, different sciences of Islam into poetry. He has many. He has what we call in Arabic dawaween. Diwan is a compendium of poetry. The plural of that word in Arabic is dawaween. He has plural, more than one compendiums of poetry. Usul, fiqh, aqidah, hadith, different things. Even Arabic itself, because he was very naturally talented in Arabic, in the sciences of Arabic. So he was, rahimahullah ta'ala rahmatan wasi'ah, somebody who had a lot of authorships and a lot of books that he wrote, and he served the ummah. He served his deen with great vigor. While being blind, it didn't stop him. Rahmatullah alayhi, rahmatan wasi'ah. And that should serve as a reminder for us, able-bodied people. Able-bodied people, Allah did not take away our two beloveds, like the Prophet called it, our sight. It's there. We have two hands, two legs. We walk to the masjid, walk back. Alhamdulillah ala salamat al-jasad, badan. Alhamdulillah that our bodies are safe and sound and intact. Yet, what have we done for the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? What have we done? Sulayma ibn Suhman rahimahullah ta'ala, being blind, has a legacy that he left behind. He's in his grave, rahimahullah. But we have books upon books, poems upon poems, refutations of Ahl Bid'ah that he did blind. He would dictate it and his students would write it, so on and so forth. It didn't become a hajiz. It didn't become like a handicap for him. His handicap, being blind is a handicap, legitimately. But it didn't handicap him from serving the deen. He didn't let that slow him down. Shaykhana Shaykh Muhammad ibn Ibrahim al-Shaykh, the former Mufti of Saudi Arabia before Shaykh ibn Baz, rahimahullah ta'ala, was blind. His student, Abdul-Aziz ibn Abdullah ibn Baz, rahimahullah ta'ala, Shaykh al-Islam fi zamanihi, right, was blind. The current Mufti, Shaykh Abdul-Aziz al-Shaykh, is blind. Shaykh Ubaid al-Jabari, one of the great scholars, major scholars of our time in Medina that I've been blessed to study with, was born without eyes. Shaykhuna Shaykh Saleh al-Hudayfi, not Hudayfi, Shaykh Saleh al-Hudayfi. He's alive, very old. He's from the times and the companions of Bin Baz, and I was blessed enough to study Kitab al-Tawheed with him. Born without eyes. Right? Who are these people? Memorize the book of Allah, memorize the hadith of Rasulullah, blind. Shaykh bin Baz went blind. Sulayma Suhman went blind. Some of these ulama were born without eyes. Rahmatullah alayhim, rahmatullah wasi'ah. But look what they did. Right? Many of our masajid, we have Bukhari with the explanation of Ibn Hajar, yes? Fath al-Bari. Ahsantum. The tab'a that's everywhere in the world, the print that is globally available everywhere, it has the ta'liqat, the footnotes of who? Shaykhana Shaykh Abdul Aziz ibn Abdullah bin Baz, rahimahullah ta'ala. He made a ta'liq on the entire book, from beginning to end. The volume that I have, that's what, 17, 18 volumes. Yeah? He would have it read to him front to back. And if they finished it, he would start it again. And that was his routine. Right? He also had a family, he also had wives, he also had children. He also prayed tahajjud, and he was a mufti, he had a job, he had a 9 to 5, just like we do, or many of us do. But all of these things did not, it did not deter these men from servicing and giving their lives to the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Yeah? Ibn Sulayma ibn Sulayma rahmatullahi alayhi, died in the year 1349. Okay, so at the age of taqriban 80 something, 83, 84. Okay, he died in Najd, if I'm not mistaken, in the year 1439. Rahimahullah ta'ala, rahmatullahi wasi'ah. And he wrote this poem. Okay, and he structured it. So before we get into it, briefly talk about the structure. He began, tab'an, with praising Allah and sending salutations upon the Messenger of Allah, and then he talked about 6 taqriban, okay? 6 signs of a healthy heart. Each sign has an opposite. Each sign has an opposite. That opposite is a sign of a dying or a dead heart. Okay? So that's how we're going to approach these 6 signs that he brings. Okay? And what Sulayma ibn Sulayma rahmatullahi alayhi did was he took the book of Ibn al-Qayyim al-Jawziyah. Ibn Qayyim al-Jawziyah. It's called Ighadatul Lahfan. Okay? That book it discusses many things about the nature of the heart and tazkiyah. The last part of the book, 1/10 of the book, he talks about the signs of a healthy heart. So what he did is he took that and he turned it into poetry. Okay, so that's what we're basically discussing here. Okay? So he talks about these 6 points, these 6 signs. There's many. He discusses these 6. And then he finishes the rest of his poem discussing usul al-deen. Okay? Aqidah wa manhaj. Both. Aqidah is your belief. Manhaj in English we would translate it as methodology. How do we understand the Kitab of Allah, the Sunnah of the Messenger of Allah, and the Aqwal of the Sahaba? What are the guiding principles in that? And so he closes, he finishes this poem that has to do with the signs of a healthy heart, and he brings in Aqidah and Manhaj. Why? Can I allow me to throw that question to you all? Why do you think in a poem that has to do with signs of a healthy heart, he ends the poem with mentioning Aqidah and mentioning Manhaj? Any guesses? Anyone?
If you don't have a healthy heart, then you wouldn't be able to understand the Aqidah.
Okay, that's a good point. So if you don't have a healthy heart, the brother said, then you won't be able to understand the Quran and the Sunnah, or the Aqidah correctly. Okay, that's one approach. Anything else?
The description from the healthy heart,
Yeah.
and how to achieve these signs through the proper methodology of
excellent point. That to achieve a sound heart has a certain path, that certain path has certain parameters, guidelines. You can't get to this destination except through these paths, or this path it's a wide path, alhamdulillah, right? It's not a narrow one. Alhamdulillah, it's a 4-lane highway, inshallah, right? But you can't go onto the, can't go into the wilderness, like, you can't go off track. Okay, you're driving a sedan, not a 4x4 off-road vehicle. You have a road, you can switch lanes within that road, but there's a certain parameter. Ahsant. That's an excellent point. Anything else? Why does Ibn Suhman mention Aqeedah and Manhaj in a poem to do with a healthy heart? Why? Anything else? No? You can just raise your hand and interject as you like, inshallah. One thing that the ulama mentioned, like Shaykh Abdul Razak Ibn Abdul Muhsin al-Abbad, who taught this poem in Bahrain, who's from Mashayikh Medina, alhamdulillah, also been blessed to study with. He mentions in the explanation of this that the reason why, and it's sort of the same point that our brother over here mentioned, it's the same point but literally turned 180, because it's true both ways. He said that tazkiyah of the heart, how much ever we try, can never happen unless its connection with Allah is correct. Okay? So me and you could sit here till the cows come home, metaphorically speaking, about all these different signs of a healthy heart, of a sick heart, of a dying heart, of a dead heart, blah 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 blah, until our throats dry up and we pass out. But unless your connection and my connection with Allah is sound, is healthy, is correct, then none of this will matter. It doesn't matter. Because it will always become corrupt, because your relationship with Allah is corrupt. And there's a asl, there's a principle, qaida in Islam that says, مَا بُنِيَ عَلَى الْفَاسِدِ فَهُوَ فَاسِدٌ. What's built upon corrupt, something that's corrupt, then that thing is also corrupt. Just like this building, alhamdulillah, inshallah, Abdulaziz, we're all trusting you, our lives are in your hands. So we're sitting here, fil aman, in peace and in security, alhamdulillah. But if a building is not, like we see in Toronto in many areas, where especially where the houses are built on an incline or a decline, right? Sometimes the foundation starts to become compromised. A crack here, your window starts to, like a crack in the foundation, and then your window starts to go to the left a little bit. Why? This is here, that's there. Because there's a direct correlation between the foundation and the fruits of that foundation. So same thing here. You can apply this to absolutely anything. And it applies to the spiritual just the same. You can apply it to a building, or to a tree, or to a human being. Yes? To a human being, even physically a human being. Unfortunately, we see from the 70s and the advent of hard drugs like cocaine and all this stuff, and crack, where women give birth who are addicted to crack, cocaine, and heroin, to children that are inherently addicted to that drug. What did the child do? It's suffering because of what? The mistakes of the asl, the mom. One of the meanings of the word in the Arabic is the root of something. That's why Allah says, فَأُمُّهُ هَاوِيَةٌ. He's going to throw somebody's mother in the fire because he's about... No. It means that Allah will take a man from his essence and throw him into the fire. أَعَذَنَ اللَّهُ وَإِيَّاكُمْ Ameen. Min al-nar. May Allah protect us from the hellfire. So Allah doesn't mean that He's going to take some, Pharaoh's mom, or somebody's, did bad things and take his mom. No, it means aslu. Ummuhu, meaning the essence of that person. It's the same thing here. The was corrupt, so she gave birth to a baby that now has to struggle. So, you and I, my dear brothers and sisters in Islam, while we're still alive and breathing, because right now we're in the stage of we're in the stage of ta'sees, foundation, we're in the stage of planting. When will we see the fruits of our labor? When will those actions give birth to thamara, to fruits? Is when we're in our grave. That's the emergency delivery room, right? That's where all of this will culminate into a healthy baby or not. Yeah? So right now you're in that stage. We're on that stage. So you still have time, we still have time, as long as Allah has given us tanaffus, breath, to breathe, to rectify ourselves. So we need to do whatever we can, how much ever we can of it, to rectify ourselves. Yes? And this is one way we can do it. Okay? I'm not saying to you that you're going to study these 6 points with me and then all of a sudden you're going to see rainbows and sunshine shooting from the sky. It's not work like that. But you will have a good general idea of when your own heart is getting sick, or if your heart is healthy. Okay? So that's the reason why he structured this poem the way he did. Okay? So we're not going to only discuss these 6 points. We're going to finish this, bidhnillahi ta'ala. We're going to finish this poem. So, a quick recap. We're going to discuss 3 things in these gatherings. We're going to discuss the signs of a healthy or unhealthy heart. We're going to discuss the principles in Aqeedah. And we're going to discuss principles of manhaj, methodology. Okay? أسأل الله أن ينفعنا بهذه المنظومة ويجعلها على ميزان حسناتنا يوم القيامة. I ask Allah SWT to benefit us through this poem, and that He puts it on our scales of good deeds on the Day of Judgment. إنه ولي ذلك وقادر عليه. وإلى اللقاء. وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. Inshallah, till next time. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت وأستغفرك وأتوب إليك.